is called Magnet Max. There once was a boy named Magnet Max who wanted to test what magnets attract. Attract means what they stick to. He loved to explore with objects galore to see what kind of things would react. So here he's holding his magnet and look at all these things that stuck to the magnet. One sunny day, Magnet Max went to play at Nick's house. Nick did not know this great find. Max showed him the habit of his wonderful magnet. Watching it work blew Nick's mind. "Wow," Nick yelled, "that's swell. The magnet's powers give him a thrill." Magnet Max made no reply. With a wink of an eye, he made his magnet attract at his will. So he's got his fork and his spoon attracted to it. Nick leaped up with glee at the magic, you see, and asked, "How do you get them to stick?" "Magnets give off a magnetic field." Something goes all the way around them. Max replied, "They stick to anything like iron or steel real quick." If you please, even nickel and cobalt can be attracted with ease. There are so many possibilities. Look at his necklace and the rings coming off. These are metals that can be part of many things, such as rings, and being magnetic is key. So it has to be certain kind of metals, not all metals. So on that day, the boys decided to play by searching for things they could find. They looked for metal objects all about, in and out, and found many items that would bind. A paperclip, the refrigerator, a nail, and a bolt with a jolt attached to the magnet with force. Magnets have force. Nick exclaimed, "Goodness sakes, I'm amazed at the magic it makes. Can we get it to stick to this horse?" No? Why couldn't we get it to stick to that horse? But a shoe, a ball, a plant, a doll could not stick to the magnet, of course. "These items are not magnetic or kinetic," said Max. "They don't have the special force." The day had gone by as they searched far and wide in the house for more objects to test. They heard Nick's mom call from way down the hall, "Max, your mom said it's time to go rest." Max and Nick said, "Aw, man, we've just begun. We aren't done. We were just about to test out a comb." You think a comb would do it?
No, plastic.
There might be metal combs, but most combs are plastic. They both looked at the magnet, wanting more to explore. It was time for Max to go home. Then Max said, "How about we hang out tomorrow and we can continue our play?" As Max walked home, he thought of the things they suggested and tested and how fun it was to explore today. Max wanted to share his tool that's so cool so other kids could feel the same joy. So he lay down in bed to relax. Then closing his eyes, he dreamed of how wise he would be as the explorer. Magnet Max. So, tomorrow we will explore with magnets and we'll go around the room and see what is magnetic all around the room. Okay? So, I'm stuck on you. Magnets are objects that attract to only certain metals, not all metals, such as iron, steel, or cobalt. 3 things to know about magnets. They have a field. All the way around them is a magnetic field, and we'll get to see that in one of our experiments. That opposites attract. Every magnet, we'll talk about this more later, has a north and a south pole. North sticks to south, but north and north won't stick together. We call that repel, and they'll push away from each other. And we'll get to see that in our experiments.
It's like an invisible marble.
So if they stick together, they called attract. If they push away, it's called repel. And we'll learn about that in our vocabulary today. So I'm going to give you a piece of paper, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to cut out the big square. We've done this before. So I'm going to cut it out. And then where there is dotted lines, I'm going to cut on the dotted lines. I'm not going to cut on the solid line, remember? So I'm just going to cut to the solid line so I can make some flats. Just like this. So I'm going to cut just on the dotted lines all the way to the solid line, not all the way to the end. And then I'm going to fold on the solid line. You can do that first if you want. And I'm going to put glue here, and I'm going to stick it to my paper, and you're going to have flaps like this. We've done this before. So I'm going to get my science journal out and glue it, and you're going to get your science journal out. I have six words we're going to learn about when we're learning about magnets. Magnet, attract, repel, magnetic field, magnetic pole, and magnetism. So a magnet is an object, and often these are what we see for magnets, or they look like this. They're just a bar magnet. Or tomorrow you're going to have a wand magnet. It's got a handle on it. It's like a wand, like a magic wand. Hand down. So a magnet is an object that is made of iron or steel and is only attracted to other magnetic objects. So under magnet, we're going to write, and I'll scooch in so you can see it. Object made, and you can use your lines, of iron or steel. It is attracted to other magnetic objects. Okay. Gonna have to write kind of small.
I gotta write mine on the bottom.
Don't go into this one because that's going to be attract. Object made of iron or steel and it is attracted to other magnetic objects. The learn is attract. So when objects are pulled together, so you see this one, the coins are being pulled to the magnet. So I have this magnet, and see I have the two magnets, and look, they pull together. They stick together. They stick together. So that's called attract. I could even get a paper clip, and it would stick to it. It sticks to it. So that's called attract. The paper clip is attracted to the magnet. So when we say attract, it's when two objects or two things are pulled together. Well, I have to write it. When two objects are pulled together. That's what attract means. When two objects are pulled together. When two objects are pulled together, that's when they attract. When they stick together, that's called attract. When they're pulled together, they attract, but when they push away, it's called repel. So when two objects push away from one another, they repel. So these can't touch. They will not touch. These two bar magnets, when I do the same colors, the blue and blue, I can't get them to touch. They won't go together. They're called repel. They repel each other. They have to be opposites, red and blue, for them to attract. But if I do the same colors, they will not go together. You cannot make them stay together. That's called repel. And y'all get to do this on your when we do our experiments. So repel. When two objects push away from one another. When two objects push away from one another. That's repel, when they push away. Now this is magnetic field. Magnetic field. So magnetic field, look at this picture. Here's the two magnets, and we're going to do this with one of our experiments. We're going to have what we call filings, and we're going to watch it make the magnetic field. So it's the forces that surround a magnet. So here's the magnet, and here's all the force. No, we're not going to do that today. Okay, so it's the forces, this magnetic field is the forces that go around a magnet. forces that go around a magnet. Magnetic field are the forces that go around a magnet. All right, our next word is magnetic pole. So here's a magnet, and it has a north pole and a south pole. So the end of the magnet where the force is the strongest force is at the end of the magnet. So at this end and this end. Okay, so the force, where the end of the magnetic pole is the end of a magnet where the force is the strongest. The end of a magnet is where the force is the strongest. That's the magnetic pole. When we learned about matter, we learned about properties, right? We learned about color, we learned about texture, we learned about size and shape. Well, another property of an object can be called magnetism. If it can attract other materials, then it's got magnetism. So magnetism is a property of an object that attracts another object. A property of an object that attracts another object. A property of an object that attracts another property, another object, just like something has different size and color and shape. Another property can be that it has magnetism. So magnet, one of its properties is that it has magnetism.